Hello, welcome to ATI 4205. This session will continue addressing warehousing and distribution centers to determine the intensity of distribution and selecting the proper strategy. In addition, the session will list physical distribution elements and will go over the preliminary definition of each one. But additional detailed explanation will be introduced in other sessions. The distribution could be intensive, elective, or exclusive. Intensive distribution is distributing a product using all available channels, while selective distribution is distributing a product using limited number of channels. An exclusive distribution of a product will be through a single wholesaler or retailer in a specific geographic region. There are legal issues that will associate exclusive distribution, and an agreement will be established to prohibit a marketing intermediary from handling competing products. Companies might include in the agreement a closed sales territories which restrict their distributors to certain geographic regions. A tying agreement might enforce a marketing intermediary to carry items other than what they want to sell. So, should the company use all available channels of distribution, or selective distribution, or exclusive distribution? The company can use different approaches for different products. So it's not a must to use one of those or select one of those. It can be a mix of more than one approach. The decision will be based on customer demand and location, service level, transportation and inventory costs, and demand variability. The decision will be also based on the structure of the distribution system within the supply chain. The partners could be working in a vertical integrated system, which means members of a distribution channel, producer, wholesaler, and retailer work together as a unified group in order to meet customer needs or customer demand. This kind of structure between the partners is designed to improve distribution efficiency and cost effectiveness by integrating various functions throughout the distribution chain. This structure could be in one of two forms, either forward integration, where the firm attempts to control downstream distribution, or backward integration, where the manufacturer attempts to gain greater control over inputs to production process. The vertical integrated system improves chances for controlling and coordinating the steps in the distribution or production process. It may lead to the development of economies of scale that ultimately saves money, and it may let a manufacturer expand into profitable new businesses or new markets. Unfortunately, this kind of structure is often costly, and distributors might lose some flexibility. Distributors have developed three categories of vertical integration systems: either corporate system, or administered system, or contractual systems. A corporate vertical integrated system can be involved with the ownership of the levels of distribution or production chain associated with a single company. Apple is an example of a corporate integrated system, since it has place to design, place to make, and retail store to sell. In the administered integration, one member of the integrated team with more dominance will organize all vertical system activities. An example of administered integration is Wal-Mart, who usually dictate their terms and conditions to the companies that are small and are involved in manufacturing some products. Small companies lack the influence for running such a system, and they must deal with producer or wholesaler who is functioning under that system. In a contractual vertical integrated system, the partners have a formal agreement on various levels of production and distribution. It's done through coordinating the overall process related to a particular company. A common form of contractual approach is franchising. The physical distribution system contains the following elements: customer service, transportation, inventory control, protective packaging and material handling, order processing, and warehousing. Sub-optimization results when the managers of individual physical distribution functions attempt to minimize costs, but the impact of one task on the others leads to less than optimal results. This occurs when a firm introduces a new product that might not fit easily into the current physical distribution system. Effective management of physical distribution requires looking at all the factors, their relationships, and how they impact each other. In addition, managers should consider trade-offs, especially when introducing new product to the existing system. The transportation and delivery is a major element of the physical distribution system, and their expenses add approximately 10% to product costs. Key to cost control is often careful management of relationships with shipping firms. Freight carriers use two basic rates: classic rate or commodity rate or special rate. Carriers can be classified as a common carrier, contract carrier, and private carriers. Common carriers provide transportation services to the general public. Contract carriers transport transporters that do not or who do not offer their services to the general public. Private carriers transporters who provide service solely for internally generated freight. Major transportation modes are railroads, motor carriers, water carriers, pipelines, and air freights. Railroads are considered the most efficient way of transporting bulky commodities over long distances. Motor carriers such as trucks, 16-wheelers, are relatively fast and provide consistent service. It receives greater revenue per ton shipped. New communication and satellite systems has improved the efficiency of trucking and assisted companies in shipment tracking. Another transportation option is water carriers such as inland or barge lines and deep water ships. Barge lines carry bulky, low unit value commodities such as grains, lumber, and steel. Freight rates are based on the size of the vessel, cost of the fuel, and security requirements. The fourth form of transportation is pipelines, which can be used to efficiently transport natural gas and oil. Pipelines for oil and gas have low maintenance and are dependable, but it accommodates a small number of products and relatively slow. In addition, it can be used in few locations. The fifth form is air freight, which is moving products using airplanes. This mode of transportation is declining in certain market sectors, but must be used for others or for other firms, and other firms are adapting to that. Some carriers like UPS is offering two less expensive non-guaranteed services: the UPS Air Freight Direct and UPS Air Freight Consolidated. This table provides a comparison matrix between the different modes in speed, dependability, frequency, availability, flexibility, and cost. Trade-offs might be required based on the item to be shipped. The demand created third parties called freight forwarders and supplemental carriers. Those companies act as transportation intermediaries that consolidate shipments to gain lower rates for their customers. In return, their customers will get lower cost on small shipments and faster delivery service than they could achieve with their own. They can actually use with these companies. They can use the less than load, the LTL, and less than container load, which is the LCL shipments. Logistics managers can ship products via several auxiliary or supplemental carriers that specialize or who specialize in small shipments. The intermodal operations is the approach of combining two modes of transportation to improve customer service and achieve cost advantages. For example, the Piggy-backing, which is combining railroad and trucking to coordinate the movement of a product. Also, Birdy-back service, which is combining trucking and airlines. Transporters send motor carriers to pick up a shipment locally and deliver that shipment to a local destination, while an air carrier takes it between airports near these locations. And the Fishy-back service, which is an intermodal coordination system between motor carriers and water carriers. Other physical distribution elements are inventory control, order processing, and packaging and material handling. And we mentioned that before as list of the elements of physical distribution. So if a company chooses to store products for days, then a physical warehouse must be used and inventory must be managed and controlled. Companies must balance maintaining enough inventory to meet customer demand with incurring unneeded costs for carrying excess inventory. To manage cost, firms use just-in-time approach, radio frequency ID technology, and a vendor managed inventory, and all these concepts will be explained at later chapters or in a separate session. Order processing directly affect firms' ability to meet customer service standards. It includes four major activities: conducting a credit check, keeping a record of the sale, making appropriate accounting entries, locating orders, shipping them, and adjusting inventory records. You subtract the item that's been shipped from inventory. Order processing will be addressed in it will be addressed in a separate session. The last element is protective packaging and material handling. Material handling are activities of moving products within plants, warehouses, and transportation terminals. It combines as many packages as possible into each load that moves within or outside a facility. One of the concepts that you will hear also very often is the containerization, which is the process of combining several unitized loads into a single well-protected load for shipment in a container. So we can put all these shipments together and ship that, which will lower the cost. That will be all for this session. The next session will address warehouse location selection strategy. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you and have a great day.